Hello again, Michael Freeberg here from beautiful North Carolina, and today I'll be reviewing 3 products from Maison Lambert. I'm going to be using the shave soap, the aftershave balm, as well as a badger brush. They provided a number of products, and I'll be using those 3 for today. So the shave soap, and here's the view of the label, or the cap. This is a coconut oil based soap, but it does include shea butter, cocoa butter, argan oil, jojoba oil, and bentonite clay. So it's another one of these kind of very rich, creamy, dense soaps. Here's how it looks in the tub. I've been lathering straight out of the tub. It is a hardish soap, but easily dented with your finger. The brush for today is also from Maison Lambert. They've kindly provided all 3 products. This is the Badger. This is a little bit floppy when wet. You'll see that. It does come in this very nice faux horn handle. It's a very heavy brush. It does come with a logo on the bottom, but I believe you can also get these engraved with your initials if you wanted. I think that's a service that they offer. I'll be using that today, and then we'll follow that with the aftershave balm. Today's razor is going to be an old classic, the Gillette Slim Twist, with a Personna Red blade on its 4th use, I believe. So let me go ahead and just re-wet my face. We're going to start lathering. Now I know that there's people who will instantly think, well, bentonite clay, one of those soaps, but I think that'd be foolish. A lot of great soaps do include clay, and if you're turning your nose up at a soap simply because it includes clay, that's a mistake. Yes, if you are buying a bath soap that is mostly an olive oil based soap and the person simply added some bentonite clay to it in an attempt to make it a shave soap, yes, that will not be great. This, however, has been really very good. All right, as you can see, I'm just going to get this wet a little bit. You can see it's not super dense, but certainly able to lather quite easily. So let me just shake it out a little bit. Just loading the brush. Now, if you find for brushes like this where it's really not dense enough, or you feel like it's a little too floppy, you can always just hold the knot with your fingers a little bit while you're actually loading the brush. And that just helps stiffen it up a little bit. Like I said, this is a very dense, very creamy soap, and you don't really want to overload. Let me just get this going a little bit. As always, when loading from a container like this, where it's kind of full to the top, you are going to make a bit of a mess, but so what? All right, I think that is going to be plenty to start with. If not, we'll simply go back to the container. Let's not waste any of that. Drip a bit of water onto the brush, and we'll go and start lathering. The scent is a mix of lavender, patchouli, and sweet orange. There's also a cedarwood scent. Add some more water in just a moment. And the soap can definitely take quite a bit of water, so don't be shy about that. Yeah, as for the scent, it's what I would call kind of a darker or deeper scent, a bit heavy. It is not a light floral scent. It's not overly perfumey at all. I certainly get more of the lavender and orange than of the patchouli, but the patchouli is definitely there under the covers, as it were. Yeah, that is starting to come together very nicely. Yeah, another great new soap on the market. You know, there just seems to be people showing up every week, somebody new making soap. In fact, I've got a kind of a massive backlog of things, and as a result, I want to go back to, I think, a weekly video as opposed to every 2 weeks. I know some of you will be rejoicing, others will be despairing. All right, a little more water. Yeah, there we go. Very nice, dense, slick soap. All right, rinse my hands, grab the razor, let's get going. Now, some of you may remember from previous shaves with this razor that this was one that my wife picked up in Toronto, and shortly after that she was hit by a bus. So this is one of those razors that, well, for nostalgia reasons, I really can't get rid of. But I gotta say, in the scheme of things, this razor, not the best razor for me. Now, this might be an unfair comparison because, of course, I was just shaving with the Rockwell 6S, and that was just fantastic shave. So maybe in contrast to that, but even so, definitely had some really not great shaves. So nice and slick. Very protective, dense. Personna Red seems to work pretty well in here, and this blade feels like a slightly less sharp Wilkinson Sword Classic. And I think I'm going to carry this one on to the next razor that I use because it only has 4 shaves on it and still doing quite well. For example, right here with this razor, always a little bit rough. Had a couple spots here and here over the course of the week, just irritated. Like the razor's kind of twanging a little bit and not really cutting that cleanly, but still working. Hair's coming off. Okay, now rinsing a little bit. Residual slickness on the soap is fantastic, by the way. Really very nice creamy layer left behind. Yeah, easy to lather. I will say that if you're really used to sort of heavily loading your brush, I think you may want to sort of dial that back with this soap. It's easy to overload. You really don't need that much. It is a very dense, kind of concentrated soap. Yeah, a nice scent. Not overly perfumey. Definitely still get, for me, it's a bit more on the orange side than on the lavender side, but as a mix, that's really pretty nice, actually. All right, this is the second pass across the growth. It's just over 2 days of growth. Shaved Friday morning. Yeah, good slickness. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer about this razor because it's a kind of a nostalgia classic, but man, just not one of my preferred razors. There is a noticeable overhang too, so there's certain spots like right there by your ear where you just need to watch out for the end of the blade. Yeah, it's not a razor that I grab often because it's just not that good. I always end up with some irritation, some sort of little nicks Yeah, you can see right there. In fact, that was actually the end of the blade. Right there, for example, the residual slickness on that soap, really good. Yeah, and I thought about switching midweek because these shades are definitely irritating my skin. You can see those spots are just they're gonna just well up again a little bit. But I think it's also important for people to see that, hey, everybody gets some irritation depending on the razor. You know, no one is some kind of magic shaver. And you may be experiencing the same. So if this kind of thing is happening to you with your current razor and you just can't seem to avoid those, it might be time to find another razor. So I've sort of suffered through it for the week because normally speaking, I would have just immediately switched to another razor. But I figured, you know what? I'm sure it's happening to you guys out there as well. You get a chance to see, yeah, that is exactly how it goes. Now, if you're stuck with the one, well, let's say that, you know, for financial reasons, you just really have the one razor, and that is totally fine. That's going to be true for a lot of people. Then what you may need to do is adapt your shave a little bit to the tools at hand. And if you find that in certain passes, the way that you're shaving is more likely to lead you to irritation or nicks, then what you can do is sort of amend or adjust your more traditional approach to an approach that lets you work with that razor and still get a great shave, and don't worry so much about somehow these hard and fast rules about 3-pass shave. If that razor just doesn't work for you on the against the grain pass, then don't do that, or try to modify it and do 2 across the grain passes and modify the angle of those 2. And you may find that you're actually getting still a very, very close shave. If your only objective is a BBS every single time with just a perfectly perfect shave in every way, it's not always going to be possible. So there are certain strokes here, for example, that I will not do with this razor. There's a certain against the grain, like right here, shaving like that. It's just uncomfortable, and so I don't do it. You can do it up here, but right there, I will stop because I know that if I start doing that, it's going to be uncomfortable, so I don't. I'll adapt to it and come at it from a slightly different angle. And that may mean that in that particular instance, I'm not going to get as good a shave as I could with another razor. There we go. Yeah, you can see I'm suffering from my art. The things I do for internet fame. Okay, stop right there, and again, more of an across the grain approach here. Yeah, still really excellent slickness on this soap. Do a quick pass with the alum and then apply the aftershave balm. Yeah, slickness on the soap is wonderful. I have a feeling, just given how concentrated it is, this will also likely last. Really don't need a lot. All right. Quick rinse. Wow. Yeah, very, very slick. This is again one of those soaps where you're gonna have to really work to rinse it off, which I think in some ways is a good sign. There we go. Troublesome with the ear. All right, what I'm gonna do is a bit of cold water, some alum for those spots, and then we'll apply the aftershave balm. So just give me a moment. A bit of cold water on the alum tip. Yeah, no real stinging other than just on those two spots. But normally what I do is if I do start developing those kind of like a repeated cut over the course of a week of shaves, definitely just apply the alum in general. Find it very useful in those cases. Helps close them up a little bit. All right, let that sit for just a moment or two. I don't leave the alum on for very long, 15, 20, 30 seconds. A minute is actually kind of on the outside. So now rinse with cold water. Cold water on the alum feels fantastic. As you can see, those are already a little bit less irritated. I know alum doesn't work for everybody, and I definitely don't recommend it for everybody, but it's certainly worth a try. It's cheap enough, and you may find that for certain shaves, it's just a little bit rougher than you liked. And having the alum in your toolkit is just a very nice option. And if you're not sure that it works for you, try it for a week, skip it for a week, try it for a week, skip it for a week, and then you have some actual sort of a real baseline to see if in fact it's working for you or not. And it may well be something you only use every now and then. All right, now, aftershave balm. This is one of these kind of very dense, like a heavy kind of a thick, not hard, but you can definitely, hard on the, just certainly on the hard side. Obviously it's got shea butter. Make sure I've got this right. It's coconut oil, shea butter, jojoba, argan oil, and this one is scented with cedarwood, lavender, tea tree, rosemary, and lime. So yeah, these so far the scents have been really quite nice. As I said, not overly perfumey, not too bright or too floral, kind of a nice, heavy, dense mix. Take about a pea-sized amount on your finger. Don't overdo it. Just put it in your palm and then rub your hands together to melt it and warm it up. And then apply very nice, smooth, kind of oily, buttery feel to it. If shea butter works well for you, if you ever use that straight, I think you're going to quite like this. I've been using this all week as well. It goes on easy. Just keep rubbing your hands together, get your hands good and warm, and help work that in. Add a little more. Overall, a pretty good shave. Certainly given the way that razor works for me, very pleased with those results, other than small irritation, bitten by the end cap a little bit. Okay, or the overhang, I should say. Well, pretty nice. I gotta rub my hands again one more time. Okay, wow. Well, that was, in the scheme of things, a pretty good shave. All right, let's review again what we've used today. Let's start off with the razor, since that's a golden oldie. The Gillette Slim Twist, Personna Red on its fourth. Maybe that was the fifth shave, can't remember. I don't actually sort of keep track. I just kind of shave with it until I feel like, okay, that one is done. I don't use a dye or anything else like that. I just put it in, shave with it until it's done, and then go. But that's just me. Today's shave soap is the shaving soap from Maison Lambert. This is the lavender, patchouli, and sweet orange. The other scent, I believe, is a cedarwood based scent. An all vegetable based soap with a lot of other oils. Good, rich, heavy, dense soap. Very easy to lather. Excellent slickness. Easy to work with. Lasts throughout the shave. A badger brush from the same company, from Maison Lambert, with a faux horn handle. A very interesting kind of cool shape. Dense, thick, heavy handle. This is not like a lightweight kind of, thin, plasticky thing. Very nice weight to this. And as I said, I believe you can get the base engraved as well if you want your initials on there. The Aftershave balm, also from Maison Lambert. A nice, dense, heavy, very beautiful, creamy aftershave balm there. Goes on, stays on. You get a nice, slick, kind of a buttery feel to your skin. Wonderful. Yeah, skin feels really good after that. A very good shave again, despite the issues I had with the razor there. Well, that's really it for today. I just want to say thank you once again so much for watching. If you have comments or questions about the products or the video content, please feel free to leave a video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.